Okay, so accidentally this video is going to be in two parts because I'm not repeating myself. So let me ask you folks a fine question. I said that wrestling was responsible for prime time shows becoming soap operas. Do you remember a little show that came out in March of 1997? And really, it's a really big show that had big bads and one cool ass chick as a hero. What was her name? I gotta pretend I'm Angel for a second. Oh yeah, Buffy the Vampire Slayer came out in March 10th of 1997. This is post Monday Night Nitro. Again, Nitro was already a thing. The NWO are already a thing in 1996. Flash forward to 97, cable television was realizing that wrestling had all this momentum and they had to compete, right? They had to compete with what was on television. So this is all prior to streaming service. Look, then they created the character Angel, who got his own spin-off. There's sort of your proof that wrestling was the reason for prime time. There's your reason. There's your proof. Rest Again, wrestling was so huge at that time. You can understand when I go into a store today, I don't see a whole aisle dedicated to AEW. Hell, I don't see a whole aisle dedicated to WWF anymore. I don't see a whole aisle dedicated to one Netflix show, one Paramount Plus show. Any stream, you can name me any show on any streaming service. I don't see a whole clothing aisle dedicated to it. You might say, well, that's absurd. There's no product that would ever get that. Ah, see, but before you finish that sentence, yes, there was. For when I would walk into a Walmart, when I walked into a Gabriel Brothers, when I walked into a Kmart at the time that was still open in the 90s, and that during the Attitude Era, during the Monday Night Nitro era, during the Monday Night Wars, the pro, of the prime of the NWO of Stone Cold Steve Austin, you when you walked into the clothing section of Walmart, of Kmart, of Gabriel Brothers, there was a whole aisle full of wrestling T-shirts. Hell, you'd walk into the mall, there would be two, if not half the stores would sell wrestling T-shirts. For example, FYE, For Your Entertainment, which is mainly a movie and CD store, they would sell wrestling T-shirts. Hot Topic would sell wrestling T-shirts. I remember this. Spencer's would sell wrestling T-shirts. You could not go anywhere into a store where there was not wrestling T-shirts. That's how big pro wrestling was. And yet, I hear people say today, there's no better time to be a wrestling fan. And I look around and I go, I don't know. To me, your product is only as good as you're trying to make it out to be, which it isn't that good at all. Because if it was that great, if people, the mass audience needs to be talking about how great your product is and what's going. Wrestling fans don't need to be talking about what's going on in your product. The mass audience does. The people who don't watch wrestling on a weekly basis or on a daily basis. I quit. Wrestling hit the wall for me in 2000. You saw the politics come out from behind the scenes on this in front of the camera in WCW, which did make for some entertaining television, but you knew the writing was on the wall. I don't blame Vince Russo. I don't blame Eric Bischoff. Hell, I blame the people at Turner because they're responsible most of all. They never wanted wrestling to begin with. You might say, well, why didn't Ted Turner know this? He absolutely knew it. He just never gave a shit what they wanted. He wanted wrestling. Ted Turner wanted wrestling. He wanted Nitro. WCW was Ted Turner's baby. That's, that's an easy way to put it. Um, the difference being is, at the time, Vince McMahon didn't have to answer to a board of trustees. He ran WWF. And even when he did make the company public, he did manage to keep a lot of his own company. Ted Turner underwent a merger with and well, with AOL Time Warner, and well, that would be the move that ousted Ted Turner and his power at WCW, unfortunately, which basically slowly but surely caused the death of WCW and all the entertaining television we got with it. Politics killed wrestling most of all. That's what really killed wrestling. Politics. It's what nobody talks about. Everybody has agendas. Oh, it was this match. It was this decision during this match. You think one match really matters at the scale of things? Think about something. When I say about the NWO, do you know who won the 1996 Bash at the Beach match? Nobody did. The heels threw the referee out. Oh, and Scott Hall counted the 1, 2, 3. Nobody won the match, proving my point. It's not about who wins the match always. It's about the impact you have post-match. And the impact you had when you brought a big, vicious Hulk Hogan and turned him heel. It was the biggest moment in professional wrestling. And there were so many big moments during the Attitude Era. Again, Stone Cold flipping off the Boss, Stone Cold getting into a shoving match with Mike Tyson, DX taking an army vehicle and driving it to WCW's arena that they were in. There were so many moments. Yes, Mick Foley going off the Hell in a Cell was awesome. Yes, Mick Foley going through a cage was awesome. And it happened. You got to see it. Moments in wrestling during the Attitude Era were just that. They were amazing to watch and they were entertaining as hell. I live in Western Pennsylvania and the Steelers are king here. Everything else from a sports wise takes a back seat. That was until the Attitude Era. That was until the Monday Night Nitro, the NWO. Nobody was talking about the Steelers anymore. At least from a first standpoint. Hey, the Steelers might make the playoffs. Oh, who gives a shit is literally what I heard somebody say. Tell me, when you discuss the show today on stream, have you ever heard somebody that's passionate about something will say, I don't give a shit, I want to talk about this now? And you knew it was that good when they said they wanted to talk about something that. I doubt that very much. So this video is going to be in 2 parts, and I hope look, you don't have to believe me that professional wrestling has caused primetime shows to become soap operas. Go ask Eric Bischoff on Twitter. Go ask Vince Russo on Twitter. Go ask Bruce Pritchard. They lived that shit. They were a part of it. Go ask Stone Cold Steve Austin. Go ask Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Go ask Hulk Hogan. Again, go ask Kevin Nash. Go ask the people who lived it, who were a part of it. I was just a spectator. That's all I was. I was nothing more than a pure spectator. I hope I've made my points. Again, this video is accidentally in 2 parts. You folks have a nice day.